You know me? I do. You're not the only one cursed with knowledge. This short exchange between Iron Man and Thanos during Avengers. Infinity War became one of the most talked about moments in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In a film filled with action, heartbreak, and spectacle, this quiet line managed to provoke endless fan theories. It wasn't just recognition, it was something deeper, a cosmic bond, a shared burden, an acknowledgement that they were somehow alike. But how? How did Thanos know Tony Stark? On the surface, it might seem like a simple line. Maybe Thanos just recognized Tony from Earth's defense during the Battle of New York. After all, Tony Stark did deliver a nuclear missile straight into the heart of Thanos' Chitauri mothership. That action alone would make him worthy of the Mad Titan's attention. But if that were the only reason, why say, "You're not the only one cursed with knowledge"? That's not the language of vengeance. It's the language of understanding. Let's rewind to the Avengers, 2012. That moment when Tony carries a nuke into space doesn't just stop the Chitauri, it shatters Thanos' first major move in his long-term plan to acquire the Infinity Stones. Earth wasn't supposed to be a threat. Humans weren't supposed to matter. And yet one man changed the course of destiny. That kind of interference is hard to ignore. From that moment, Stark wasn't just another Avenger. He was a potential variable, a problem. A mind that could think ahead like Thanos did? And for someone obsessed with control, that's a dangerous thing. But the connection doesn't stop there. In a deleted scene from Infinity War, Thanos tells Tony, "I know your soul. It's much like mine, cursed with knowledge." This line never made it to the final cut, but it reinforces what we already felt in that Titan encounter. Thanos doesn't just know of Stark, he knows who he is on a deeper level. It's not admiration, it's not revenge, it's identification. The phrase cursed with knowledge deserves attention. Both characters are defined by foresight. Tony is plagued by nightmares and visions of disaster, visions that began after flying through that wormhole. His PTSD in Iron Man 3, his obsession with Ultron in Age of Ultron, his paranoia in Civil War. All of it stems from that terrifying glimpse into the wider universe. He knows threats are coming, and he's willing to do anything to prepare. And then there's Thanos. He too is driven by what he sees as inevitable doom. Overpopulation, scarcity, collapse. He believes that unless he acts, the universe will devour itself. The tragedy is that he believes he's the only one with the strength to act. Both men are burdened by what they know. Both try to save the world in their own way, and both end up making terrible sacrifices in the name of the greater good. This shared burden is what makes Thanos say, "You're not the only one." It's not just poetic, it's precise. He sees Stark as a mirror, someone who, like himself, is isolated by what he understands, tormented by the path he feels he has to walk. Some fans speculate that Thanos' knowledge of Stark might go beyond observation. They point to the Soul Stone, a mysterious artifact that behaves differently than the others. It demands a soul in exchange for power. It's tied to emotional truth, to the essence of beings. Could Thanos have glimpsed Tony's soul through the Soul Stone? Could he have seen the same tortured mind, the same obsession with protecting others at any cost? It's an intriguing theory, especially when paired with the line about souls being much alike. While there's no hard evidence in the films, the nature of the Soul Stone is intentionally vague, open to interpretation and possibly connection across souls. Whether symbolic or literal, it deepens their bond. And then there's another angle, technology. In Iron Man 2, Tony discovers a hidden message from his father and uses it to synthesize a new element for his arc reactor. This element, inspired by the Tesseract, doesn't just save his life, it revolutionizes energy on Earth. Stark essentially creates a clean, limitless power source, one that pushes Earth's tech decades, if not centuries, ahead. Now consider this from a cosmic perspective. For a civilization like Earth to make that kind of leap would send ripples through the galaxy. And if someone like Thanos was monitoring potential threats or anomalies, Tony's new element would absolutely register. In the cosmic order, intelligence is often more dangerous than strength. Stark's ability to innovate puts him in the same league as beings Thanos would actually worry about. In Marvel Comics, figures like Tony Stark and Reed Richards are often targeted not because they're powerful, but because they're unpredictable. Cosmic entities see them as wild cards, minds that might stumble onto godhood or worse, disrupt grand designs. It's entirely in line with Thanos' character to notice a man like Tony, who in just a few years went from weapons dealer to world-saving inventor to cosmic-level thinker. There's also an emotional parallel. In Age of Ultron, Tony tries to create a global defense system, Ultron, to protect Earth. He does it out of fear, and it backfires. But he makes that choice alone, burdened by the responsibility to protect everyone. Thanos, too, acts alone, believing that only he can save the universe. He sacrifices his own daughter, Gamora, believing it's necessary. These men don't wait for consensus. They act on what they believe must be done. It isolates them, it scars them, and it makes them terrifying. By the time we reach Infinity War, the connection is already established, but in Endgame, it culminates. Tony is the one who solves time travel. He's the one who builds the gauntlet, and ultimately, he's the one who makes the final sacrifice. When Doctor Strange says, "There was no other way," he's not just talking about strategy, he's talking about fate. Thanos and Stark were always destined to collide. One represents sacrifice for control, the other for love. One tries to kill half the universe to save it, the other gives up his life so no one else has to die. They're opposite sides of the same coin, each defined by knowledge, each making impossible choices, each leaving an irreversible mark on existence. This is what makes their interaction so haunting. Thanos doesn't hate Tony. He respects him, maybe even fears him. Not because Tony is stronger, but because he understands. Thanos knows that Stark is the kind of man who will find a way, who won't stop, who, in the end, will do what no one else can. Their connection is not just one of recognition, it's destiny, forged through shared burdens, mirrored philosophies, and a cosmic symmetry that defines the Marvel Cinematic Universe's grand arc. So how did Thanos know Tony Stark? He knew him the way only someone walking the same path can. Through burden, through foresight, through pain, because in the end, they were both cursed, with knowledge.